The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 21st day of April, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman, along with Carla Zul. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. If you're watching online, share the link. If you're on Facebook, start a watch party. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're watching on Channel 82 or listening on the Full 100 radio station, call someone up, let them know on, just get the conversation out there to your network, and don't forget to like and engage with us. Another good one today is Dakia O'Brien stopping by to speak about the Picky Little Eaters Club. If this were around when I was young, I was picky. I didn't like a lot of, I still don't like a lot of stuff, but the Daily Play is a say it, don't sing it. So, folks, tape up those windows because Carla does damage. Tape the. Oh, I'm sorry. I know we was talking about hurricane season preparation. You got me. Carla, woo, what a 420. And I'm not talking about the heights that many people are on. George Floyd. Yesterday the government of Bermuda had a press conference, right? And they're probably wishing all their press conferences can be overshadowed by something like the verdict in the Derek Chauvin case in the murder of George Floyd, because they literally happened at the same time. And a lot of people, were celebrating justice, and there's so much to cover with that, with the young lady who was murdered by police up in Columbus, Ohio. And now they're saying body camera footage shows that she had a knife and was lunging toward another girl with the knife, even though she called the police to say she was being jumped. Here's my issue without having all the facts is I think it's been discussed time and time again when it comes to law enforcement in the United States, right? Maybe they need training from other countries or people, unless their job is to shoot first, ask questions later, or just shoot. But not knowing how to de-escalate without discharging a firearm just seems so extreme to me. It seems so extreme.
I'm heavy this morning. I woke up to hearing about the young lady, and I actually did a post on my Facebook, and I was just like, there are other ways that it could have been handled. And someone said, well, she had a knife. Taser, shoot her in the knee, something. Did you have to discharge 4 times in her chest? I did see some footage from someone who was there, but they had her covered, and then you saw her legs. But then I did see the camera footage on CNN this morning, and I'm sorry, I get it, but a taser even. Why is killing the first thing? I feel very devalued as a Black person. And Jamal, I don't know how you do it in America, because as a Black man, it's scary. I just feel like Black people are not worthy, and that's just how I feel today.
Yeah, and I think there's some important things in what Carla said. You touched on why shooting, and it's like they're killing. Like, are they not trained to shoot like in a leg or a foot or a place where it can stop someone, rather than in places where it's going to be immediate death? And then the amount of shots that it takes, what's the explanation behind that stuff? As far as being a Black man in America, I hate to do this, but this is just the reality. I cannot act like Bermuda was a safer place for a Black man when continuously we're being gunned down in Bermuda by Black men. So, obviously there's deep roots to that problem that go so far deep that even on the surface is not worth discussing unless we're gonna have that long conversation. But I mean, if I were to be scared, I mean, Bermuda's a much smaller place. Black men are shooting black men. That is a threat to us. We are a threat to us in that situation. So I don't think the comparison of saying, how could I live in the United States is worthy when we have what's going on in Bermuda, murder after murder, unsolved after unsolved. So I appreciate the excitement that people have for a verdict in George Floyd, but I want that energy to be shown locally within Bermuda. That same energy in terms of getting people to the courts, getting people convicted of these sorts of things, because I do understand when people say, write these posts and say, look, we're out here marching for George Floyd, but what about what's happening in our own backyard? I get it. I really do. I get it.
Yeah.
I want to get from the audience, though, because there was a lot of back and forth on social media about whether or not this is justice or not. And, I have to agree with the people that say this is not justice. This is a step, and it's accountability, right? But justice comes when, systemic change happens, when we get, I believe they're pushing for a George Floyd Act to be passed, right? The justice comes with that. The justice doesn't come with a conviction. Why? Because during that same time period, as Carla just mentioned, there was a young lady that was gunned down. So we can't claim this is not justice. I think we really need to understand what justice is, what justice looks like, right? Accountability, yes, this officer was held accountable for his actions, but someone, I may have seen it on one of the news networks. This is only the 7th officer convicted over the last 5 years or something, where there have been 1,500 or 15,000 officer-related murders. Think about that. Well, let's say, sorry, not murders, shooting deaths.
Dante, right. I mean, even as the Derek Chauvin case was going on, another young man in Minnesota, you would think that it would be like, okay, let's not do that because this is what's happening in the background. I just feel really sad today. Yeah. Really heavy.
No, it is. Carla John says there's nothing wrong with Black people. We need to get to the roots of the issues that cause many issues in our communities. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I said. Absolutely. Teresa Stewart says they definitely shoot for the torso as it's their biggest target in the body. It's clear they aren't good marksmen, because a marksman could shoot a limb to de-escalate the situation. And I think that's what a lot of people are asking for. No, that's what we're asking for. I don't think it's hard. It's not hard to ask for. No. And then this is another thing that popped out to me. Teresa Stewart says, how about Nancy's remark regarding George Floyd's sacrificing his life? This is the first day, and this is honestly, I stick with me as I say this. She should retire, because it came across like an elderly person who's literally lost the plot when she said that.
Yeah, I just watched that too, and there was some commentary, and the gentleman said she was well-meaning, probably, she was well-meaning, but it just wasn't the right thing to say. Like, sacrificed his life? Really? He didn't even have a say in it. You sacrifice when you have a say in it, or listen.
Well, that's a case of white politicians not being in touch with reality. That's simply what it is. Nancy Pelosi is not in touch with reality. That I don't know how to describe it any more, any less. But just want to ask the audience, with the conviction of Derek Chauvin, right? What are your thoughts? Do you feel like, justice was served? Do you think things will change with other court cases going forward? Do you see remember, there's 3 officers that pretty much, can I say they were alleged accomplices at this point? Because he was found guilty, and none of them did anything, according to what we know so far, to stop it from happening, right? So, think about it. All he had to do was get up off his neck. That's it. That's all he had to do. And he didn't. All he had to do was get up. Deborah Leah Jill Bell says justice won't be confirmed until there is justice for all. There was one case where there has been accountability. I agree. It's accountability. I don't see the justice in this at all. Sean Smith, unfortunately, they trained to shoot to kill, head or heart. And that's what we see. That's our reality. That's our reality. It's I could only imagine what would happen if some of these trained officers were in a place like Bermuda. I could only imagine. But you would think that the conviction of Derek Chauvin would send a message, right, to other police officers that, you can be found guilty and go to prison for this. That's the message that we're hoping to send. But will it be sent? Will officers still feel like, no, I can justify my actions, I can do this, I can do that? Because I don't know if you all saw the report. Well, let me pull it up. I don't know if you guys remember the official report. I think I may have it here. Let's check. Because that right there was something in itself. The official report of George Floyd, to get an understanding of how crazy this was. I don't even know how to look in this phone to kind of look for stuff, folks. Give me a second. Had it for a few months, but still don't.
It's acting his age, people.
Yeah. I don't remember how to look in this, but you get my point. The original police report basically said a man was arrested. He died of a medical condition, and that was that. Like that, when you think about and so the reason people were sharing that around is, had this 17-year-old young lady, I believe she's 17 now, had she not been there to video record this, do you realize that we would not be here?
But do you know, it's a little step back of that. A 9-year-old, her cousin wanted her to go to the store. I don't know if you heard the story. And she wanted to get candy, and she kept putting it off. And the little girl at 9 spoke to a reporter off camera and said, I'm so glad that she finally took me, because she wouldn't have been able to record that if we hadn't gone to the store.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy how things align, right? Carla Jones says the Chauvin trial set a precedent, but how many future police trials are going to have nearly 10-minute video footage from multiple angles with multiple civilian witnesses? Well, let's go to another angle, because let's be honest. A lot of people were skeptical, and we should not be celebrating something that seems so open and shut, right? But we are, because Rodney King was 30 years ago, 91, if I'm not mistaken. That was caught on video. Those officers walked. But here's what I think, and I said it to you guys yesterday. The biggest difference in this trial wasn't just the video. It was the strategy by the prosecution. The prosecution, this was, I don't know how many people follow court trials regularly, but if you will probably not find a better fought case by a prosecution than what we witnessed with this. They used current police officers. They made it clear this isn't about the police. This is about a bad cop. And they used police officers to shape their case against Derek Chauvin. It was brilliantly done. It was brilliantly done. What they used was not just the video, but they used the people who are out there daily to say, no, that's not how we train. This is not normal procedure. This is not how it should have done. You use the paramedics. Right? So you use first responders. It was brilliantly done, honestly. Charles H. Jeffers, too, says, let's not forget the massive job done by the prosecution team and the unprecedented step of having several police officers testify against him. Yeah, that's what I said yesterday, Charles. I told him, I'm like, this was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And even the time that they came back with the verdict, I saw people talking about, they're taking so long. Bruh, the amount of 2020 and Dateline and the ID channel I watched, they came back within a day. It had to be guilty. No questions for the judge. So I was not expecting a verdict till Thursday or Friday. I just felt like there was going to be one holdup, just one person, especially with the last day and bringing up Maxine Waters and all that stuff. I thought was going to play a role, but the prosecution did a job. The prosecution did a job.
Do you still think they're going to appeal?
Absolutely.
Because you saw he had no emotion and put his hands behind his back, just like, take me. I was like, yeah. He's probably saying, hold on, mate. Appeal coming. Don't you worry.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Amber Guyger down in Dallas, she's appealing, and she only got 10 years, right? But he hasn't been sentenced yet. But yes, he's going to appeal. This is just part of the process, and we must keep our eyes on it. So look, this is not the end of this. Not only is he going to appeal, but the 3 other officers, they go on trial this summer. And let's not forget Ahmaud Arbery case coming up. So when we talk about justice is this not happening at all. Justice is people understanding that doing this kind of stuff, whether police officers or racists, is a crime, and you're going to do time for it. So justice is prevention. People understanding that we shouldn't be here even having this conversation. But accountability, this is a start. This is a start. Let's see where we go from here. Teresa Stewart says, if that's the case, not normal procedure, the issue is deeper than training. Bobby Singh, spot on, Jamal. The prosecution's case was brilliant. Rick Olson says, what will happen to the other officers at the scene who were equally guilty? Well, we haven't forgotten about them, and we should let them send them a reminder that they're next. Malika Cartwright says the Black Attorney General directed his team perfectly. Yes, he was great. I forget his name. I do forget his name. He was absolutely great. Linda Bell says, good morning. I do agree, Jamal. I followed many trials. Robert Durham says the defense tried to get a mistrial because of what Water said, which is ridiculous, man. I mean, ridiculous. Trying to blame the crowd that was apparently angry for this man's remaining on that man. All he had to do was get up. That's all he had to do. Malika Cartwright, this is holding people accountable for their actions. And this is what I immediately thought about. Breonna Taylor still doesn't have justice. Now, I read somewhere that people are fighting for Tamir Rice's case to be reopened. Justice, we want to talk about justice. Justice would be for all of us to fight until they reopen many cases. If cases were fought on the state level and lost, go to the federal level. But this is an opportunity to fight for these cases to be heard on a federal level and reopen them. So, folks, interesting times in these United States of America, not just the United States, but worldwide. There are racial issues that are leading to the deaths of so many people. Again, there are many families, they're getting these payouts, but these payouts don't stop what's happening. It doesn't bring their loved ones back. We need justice, and I'm pretty sure that we'll get it someday. We have the movement moment with Tamara Janelle. We're going to do that right after the news break, and then take our commercial break, and then come back with Picky Little Eaters Club, Dakia O'Brien. So good show for you today. Stick with us. The Daily Play. We're going to have some fun today, folks. Trust me. it's going to be fun today. Keith Allison, PAG. Carla, let's head over to you. Joke's on you, actually.
Under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer for more than 9 minutes, George Floyd said time and time again he couldn't breathe. Nearly 11 months later, his family can finally exhale. A sense of relief mixed with jubilation was palpable among Floyd's relatives yesterday after a Minneapolis jury found the man accused of killing him guilty on all 3 charges, including second-degree murder. The family thanked the legions of advocates and protesters who pursued justice since Floyd died last May 25th while handcuffed and pinned to the ground by Derek Chauvin. They also vowed to continue fighting for those who have been unjustly killed by law enforcement. Brother Philanese Floyd said he had heard sympathetic messages from people near and far, some as far away as Ghana, Brazil, and Germany. They're all saying the same thing. We won't be able to breathe until you're able to breathe. Today, we are able to breathe again. That's what Mr. Floyd said at a news conference in Minneapolis. Justice for George means freedom for all. The proceeding was courtesy of USA Today. Life often brings times when 2 perfect things come together to create something that is absolutely sublime and beautiful. Sometimes this involves 2 people being brought together, like us, Jamal. Other times it's the perfect song, and it's Wednesday, for the ideal mood. But topping all of that, Chocolate-Covered Cashew Day celebrates the coming together of a nut and bean to create what may very well be the penultimate snack food. Rich, flavorful chocolate rich, flavorful chocolate wrapped around the distinctly nutty flavor of roasted cashew nuts. Can you say heaven? Could anyone imagine anything better? For those who think they can, it seems unbelievable because chocolate covered cashew day just blows almost anyone's taste buds out the water. Turning to weather, the temperature in Bermuda is expected to reach a high of 70 today. Atlanta, Georgia will see a high of 57, and Nottingham, UK, a high of 53. That's your Daily Hour news break.
Chocolate covered cashew. So it's like a poor man's Snickers or something.
Cashews are expensive. Those things are delicious.
No,
They're nutty.
They're
nutty.
PG. And on that note, we're gonna go. You're a nutcase, literally. Get it?
But you missed the part about you and I, the perfect combination.
I know. I heard that. Trust me. Look, yeah, folks. She hasn't had that med today. She hasn't had that med. She didn't get her 420 in. Anyway, let's go to the movement moment with Tamara Donnell. Stick with us after this important information. Here, this segment you will get on our commercial break, and then we'll be back with Dakia O'Brien, Picky Little Eaters Club. Carla doesn't like avocado, so this should be an interesting combo. Here you go.
This movement moment brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Together, we can illuminate your path to wellness.
Welcome to today's movement moment with Tamara Donnell, brought to you by People's. Tamara, what are we discussing today?
Hello, Jamal. Today, we are discussing cannabis as medicine. What type of dosage will work for me? Today, it's important that we discuss the different delivery methods for your cannabis as medicine. So depending on your desired outcome, it would determine which way you take your cannabis, whether you ingest it, whether you inhale it, whether you use a tincture. The different delivery methods give you different levels of, quicknesses of onset, different levels of, to the degree that you feel the cannabis working. So for example, the inhalation method, obviously inhalation through smoking bypasses all of your other systems and gives you that quick onset effect of your cannabis as medicine. So if you're in pain, if you want to go to sleep really quickly, then inhalation might be your best delivery method. Sublingual delivery method, that involves putting a tincture or an oil directly under your tongue. It bypasses the whole digestive system and is absorbed into your bloodstream. That will give you a longer lasting effect and is, in my opinion, more beneficial because you can measure the dose you're getting and absorbing. You're putting it right under your tongue, holding it for 30 seconds, and in it goes into your system. I like to use sublingual for what I call more of a consistent dose if you're using cannabis on a daily basis to try to achieve homeostasis, which we've talked about in previous segments. Another method is the ingestion method. Many people would know about edibles and would know the pros and cons of the ingestion method. So you're going through the digestive system, your liver is processing things, and then the onset occurs. It can take much longer for the onset to occur based on your digestive system and how long it takes to do its processes, but more of the active THC is converted when you take it through the liver. So in terms of your desired outcome, you might have a better effect if you ingest it. But beware when using edibles, it does have a bit of a delayed onset. So you definitely want to be mindful if your edibles have THC in them of the delayed onset. Do not take more than your prescribed dose because you might be sorry after you eat more than 1 or 2 cookies.
Thank you for tuning into this movement moment. To enjoy the benefits of the full episode, check us at Instagram at MVMT with Tamara Donnell or at People's BDA.
Tamara's last point, right, about your prescribed dose and not having too many edibles. We spoke about this when we first began this show with my experience up in Canada. And yeah, you know, it's like non-Bermudians who try rum swizzle for the first time. Oh, this is nice fruit punch. And they keep that will come and sneak up on you. So that's what those edibles would do, folks.
Mal, real quick. You know what animal I'm terrified of? There are two. Remember, you always say you used to.
Spiders.
Huh? Say it again.
Lizards and spiders.
Lizards and frogs. So I went to Greece, had some beans at the pool, jumping, screaming because I thought that iguanas, because I'm scared of lizards, were underneath the chair. And my friend's like, "What are you talking about?" It was my flip-flops.
You were looking like a crazy person because
I was like, "Oh my God, they're iguanas." She was like, "It's your shoes."
just a strange one, folks. just a strange
Coffee
one.
beans.
We're gonna take a break right now and come back with the strange one, Carla Zul. Yeah, we'll be right back.
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Just in time for spring cleaning comes a fragrant, naturally effective solution. Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day Household Cleaners. Formulated not with the usual harsh chemicals like chlorine, ammonia, and petroleum derivatives, but powerful natural essences with garden-inspired scents. Safer for your children and pets, and aromatherapeutic too. This month we're featuring Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day Laundry Detergent with geranium and lavender, multi-surface cleaners powered by the invigorating aromas of lavender, bluebell, and honeysuckle, and more. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back to the big show. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and our friends over at Channel 82. Don't forget, they are streaming 24/7. Check them out, Facebook, YouTube, and on channel82.com. So look, before we bring Dakia on, I'm sure she doesn't have any options like this on Picky Little Eaters, but Carla John says, you might be sorry if you eat more than one. She would know. She lives up in that country where I was very sorry for having more than one. So dosage is important, and make sure you go to at People's BDA and Movement at Movement Tamara Donnell to watch the rest of that episode, because she's talked about cannabis a lot, but honestly, folks, dosage is important. Like I know people have said, "Oh, you can't overdose." You can look. Too much of anything is not a good thing. So check the full episode out. Let's bring in our conversationalist for the day, Dakia O'Brien. I don't know if I just made that word up.
Big words. You go, boy.
Dakia, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
We're good. Thanks. We're good. Not sure what kind of ingredients you use in
not this.
Okay, all right. Now, just glad to get that out of the way. But look, for those who don't know, this is your second time on the show.
This is my second time.
Welcome back, I should say. But what exactly is the Picky Little Eaters Club? Talk to us.
So the Picky Little Eaters Club is a club for children ages 5 to 13 years old, where we teach them the fundamentals of cooking, baking, and nutrition. So it's not just a subscription box. It's an actual club that they will join, and they got, like I said, cooking, baking, nutrition classes. They got taught lessons, meet and greets, and different things like that.
Okay. And speak to us. I mean, it seems like a brilliant idea. Obviously, you must have had something to do with Johnson & Wales University. But look, how did you speak to us where it came from? Where did the concept come from, the idea of it all?
It went through so many different phases. As a person whose mind is always going, always thinking of what is missing and how I can fill that gap. It started off as an idea of doing a kids cooking show. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that show that Bill Cosby used to do with kids. Kids say the darndest things. So I had an idea where I wanted to showcase kids doing things like that. There isn't a day that you go and scroll past Instagram or Facebook that you don't see someone, showing off their child's skills in cooking. And so this has actually been in motion for a very long time. And I had this grand scheme of a studio and cameras to record this cooking show. And we were actually in planning to do that once COVID hit. And I think with a lot of other entrepreneurs, once COVID hit, we were sort of taught that we had to pause and do with what we had. And I was forced to just pause and think, how can I still move with doing less? You know what I mean? Using less resources. So we did our first live cooking show in April of 2020 on Facebook. And that's how we really got started.
Nice.
No, Kia, I was watching the video with your daughter, and I'm assuming it was your nephew, and the Brussels sprouts on the table. I was giggling, right? Because I only started eating Brussels sprouts like last week. How do we get our kids? Give us some innovative ideas. How do we get our children to eat vegetables, which it seems like most of the time, to eat them, but they refuse to? Can we trick them in foods or hide them because they need the nutritional value?
We have to do that for Carla too, by the way, but go ahead.
Before avocados. But one of the biggest things is when children are involved in cooking, when they're involved in making their meals and the ingredients and the processes, they're more adapt to eat it because they're part of themselves. Another thing also is education. It takes at least 12 exposures to a certain food for a child to even recognize it. And when I say exposures, I don't mean them actually eating it. Sometimes it just has to be in front of their face. Also, they lead by example. If they see you eating it and enjoying it, then they might say, okay, well, mommy might be onto something. But also exploring different flavors and things, Brussels sprouts they're taking on a whole different world. What they got served was just regular green Brussels sprouts because that was the point of them not to like it in the video, right? But in my household, when we do Brussels sprouts, we add a little garlic, we add a little season, we give them color. So now they're a little bit more visually appealing, but it doesn't take away from the health benefits as well. So we have to give that little extra step to bring foods to life, certain foods to life.
Yes, I never thought I'd love a Brussels sprout.
Carla, real quickly, wasn't it Rudy Huxtable on the Cosby Show like about 30 years ago that made us all dislike Brussels sprouts? That's where I first remember it. It was Rudy Huxtable. And then now, as you just stated, like right now, people are being so creative with them. I mean, barbecuing them and making them with different sauces. I mean, I love Brussels sprouts. So, yeah, Rudy Huxtable, you got it wrong, lady.
But you just said something, kid. I think I'm guilty of this because I don't like pumpkin and I've never liked pumpkin and none of my children like it. And I used to make it fresh and you have to taste the food and I'd be like, no, you try it. And they wouldn't because I wasn't setting an example, but hey, but you offer the subscription box, what I like with the picky little eaters. And so it comes with tools and tips. Tell us what's in the box and how has the box inspired young people to cook?
So I don't want people to get thrown off by the box alone. So just you will, with your subscription, you will get a box. And see, do I have one? I always have one close. There's always one of these in my house. You probably see about 8 of them in my house. But you will get a box every month, but the box is not the entirety of the subscription. So it's a club. I want everyone to understand that. So in the box, you will get your aprons. Every student will get a personalized apron, and then you will get your recipes, which will be the instructions for the ingredients and the directions for the recipes that we will be doing every month. We will be doing 3 virtual lessons. And so we don't give you the actual food. It's just the ingredients for you to go out and get with your child because we want them to understand in picking out ingredients, et cetera, et cetera. Also in there, we'll have lessons. And the meals that we make, everything is going to be based around the lessons. So I understand that most times children want to get in and they want to make something fancy, but the meals that we're making, there's a lesson involved. So take, for example, our May box is the lesson that they're going to be learning is making a roux, and the theme is all things Bermudian. So we're making macaroni and cheese, not because we're trying to be fancy smancy, but because making a roux is a basic in making macaroni cheese sauce for macaroni and cheese. A roux is a mother sauce, which is a basic of anything, but I don't expect everybody to know that. So it's, a transfer of information. So don't be caught up on the meal because there's a lesson behind it. We also do activities and the cool tools of the month. So when I go looking for these tools, it's something that your mom might have in her kitchen, but she's not going to have what I'm going to give you. So it's going to be a different twist on it. It's going to teach you the uses, the history, and it's more than just a box, if that makes sense.
So I don't want you to reveal your trade secrets for me. Go back to a previous box and tell us about one of the tools that you gave them an example.
Well, I'll tell you about this one because this is our launch. We haven't our first month will be in May. So the cool tool that we're doing is a whisk, but you're not going to get a whisk. Let me see if I have one. I don't want to disappear off the camera, but anyways, there's dough whisk, there's egg whisk. I'm sure people didn't know that there are now different variations of a whisk. It's no longer just your, there are different types of them. So in our box, we give out the three different variations of a whisk, and each whoever gets whatever type of whisk will have a task to learn why that whisk is shaped the way it is, what does it do, and etc.
Now you have your daughter, your beautiful daughter Rial, and she likes to cook with you. How important you think it is for children to drum up the desire to cook, and at what age do you think children should start experimenting in the kitchen?
As early as possible, because Rial has been around in the kitchen with me since she was a baby. As you remember, when I started Wellbeing Wednesday, she was 1 and some change. So she's been in the kitchen with me for years. And so now that she's involved, I don't make her breakfast anymore. You can say what you want. She gets up and she makes her own breakfast. She's very involved in her making of lunch and dinners and whatnot. And it's becoming something now that she wants to do. It's not forced. She's at the age now, she's 8. She's exploring her own individual wants, needs, and likes. And what I really want parents and everyone else to understand is that it's okay for your child to not like something. We don't have to force them to eat things, but as long as they're given the education and the opportunity to at least try it and make that decision for themselves, then that's all you can do.
I want to talk about, we had Jamaica Smith on earlier this week, and we were talking about veganism and how things have really changed. Obviously, the conversation came up about children because she has a young son, and how was it getting him to move to the vegan diet as well? Do you actually, obviously as a chef, you probably have various different kind of cuisines that you focus on and teach children, but have you tried anything in that space, like anything to kind of see what how their taste buds respond to that kind of stuff, like vegan foods that are made without egg or milk?
That's basic for me. That's a preference. So if there is a child or a parent that says, okay, well, my child is vegan or whatnot, then there are different methods that you can explore to give them the same feel of a certain food by using a different method. I don't think, for my personal preference, it's not something that I would push on a child, but that's because that's my personal belief. But other parents and other religions and etc., they have their reasons for it. So, but we will explore organics, alternates, just because you never know. Somebody might say, well, I don't like regular milk, but then they try oat milk, or you know what I mean? It's just about just seeing where every child is at.
Now, I'm going to be a hypocrite when I ask you this, right? Talk about the colors of the rainbow, because I know that you talk about that often, and I probably only like yellow, maybe orange, and one green. But why is it important for, especially for children, to have the colors of the rainbow and to incorporate them into meals?
I'm not talking about Skittles, right?
I wish.
Well, I had did an article a few months ago for the Bermuda Parent, maybe it was last year. And so we talked about the different colors of the rainbow when it comes to different foods and fruits and vegetables. You know, back in the day, your mom used to say things like, eat your carrots, it'll make your hair grow or help your eyesight. And you really think that she was joking with you, but she's not. There are different properties for every color of food in the rainbow, even the whites, the potatoes, and the browns and whatnot. And also, as everyone, we eat with our eyes. So visual representation is always a good booster to help get children to eat more, because the colors are they're gonna excite their eyes, their taste buds, and everything, and it's gonna help them to be more willing to eat different types of things.
Now, you talked about how just as you were starting to do the cooking classes, COVID came, and then you did virtual, and you're going to do virtual classes. How has the response been? And are parents encouraged to get involved in these virtual lessons with their children, or is it just for the children?
So it's COVID. It was a blessing to some in some cases, and it was a curse to others. But one thing that I noticed, even slightly before COVID came, was that a lot of businesses and the world was going towards digital productions anyway. It was always bound to happen, so to say. I think the positive with the virtual classes is that one, children, while cooking, they can get comfortable in their own space with their own kitchens and learn the way around their kitchens. Two, everyone is not always comfortable performing in front of other children or other people. So they have that comfort zone. And thirdly, with so much going on in COVID, you know, you have parents that are working other jobs. You just have life period right now. It's very, very unexpected. You can work at your own pace. So there's it will not be a set time that this class is happening. We'll upload them. And as long as you guys complete it within that month, then you're good. So it takes a lot of the pressure off to have to commit to a schedule. So yeah, did I answer all of your questions? Because I got caught up sometimes.
You were fine, girl. I think it's so awesome because, again, like, I have a child that doesn't eat corn. I'm like, who doesn't eat corn? One doesn't eat potato. I'm like, who are you? But then one loves avocado. Children. One loves avocado, and I'm just like, how did you like that thing? Because and even gotten it from, I'm like, So I think it's awesome because you're encouraging the young people to explore. I just don't like a lot of stuff, and I feel like I've deprived my children. But if we had picky little eaters when they were little, they'd be eating all those fancy schmancy avocados and stuff.
I mean, Carla's got a trip. You know, I mean, her children are trying to teach her something, and she's not tuning, right? That's what it is. But no, Dakia, I didn't realize. Obviously, Gurn Johnson and Wales is a school focused on culinary and nutrition, and I never looked at stuff like that until, you know, one of my roommates, he was actually majoring in one of those courses, and he, you know, was telling me what he was doing, like the class, and I was like, why are you taking chemistry to cook or whatnot, or like sciences? And now I look back, I'm like, duh, like you need to understand things, right? But at the time, I'm just like, it's so much to it. It's so many things. And knowing that young people, like you're giving people an opportunity to learn as they cook, is really giving them a head start. It's an amazing thing to see. How many spaces and how many people are you aiming for? And like for those people who are interested, how can they hit you up?
Okay, we have 25 spaces for the first month, and we are getting close. The last day for registration will be April 30th. You can head over to our website, which is www.thepickylittleeaters.com, and all of our packages are laid out. I want to say that the the cost, it breaks down to be about $150 per month. But as we're running it similar to a club, the minimum monthly subscription, you can either do 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And what I want people to focus on is the value that you're getting for your dollar. And I also, while I have the opportunity, I want to shout out my teammates, because over this entrepreneurship journey of the past 10 years plus, is that I've learned that no man is an island, and reach out to your fellow brothers and sisters for a hand. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Natalie Bean of Eat Well Children BDA. She will be doing our nutrition classes, which are not just for the children, but also for parents. And I also want to thank Camila Cannoner of Sweet Sack Bakery, because she will be doing our baking classes. So I want to thank them for believing in my journey, trusting this vision, and coming on board with us.
All righty. And Carla, I think there was a comment that really speaks to you. It sounds like Carla needs to subscribe herself to the Picky Little Eagles Club. And I mean, you know, you have space, right? You know, we'd like to get Carla in there, because we want her eating avocado by the end of summer.
It can be a special mention.
Yeah.
I try. Kia, I'm bad. I have to confess, everyone's gonna start screaming at me. The first time I ate a fresh pepper was in 2017. I never liked peppers. And only once I moved to the UK and they mistakenly put one on a pizza, and I was like, oh, this isn't bad. So now I eat them raw in a salad. Just started in January.
You see the difference because you actually tried it with an open mind, right?
But here's the other funny. I've never tried avocado. It just looks gross.
Well, I've been telling you for a while, come talk to me and we'll get you on the right track.
Jamal, it's horrible. I dip in the guacamole, and I'm like, but then I'll say to my children, here, it's a superfood, try it. And they're like, you try it first.
A lot of things, though, for people, Carla, it's not even the taste, it's texture. A lot of people, they can't stand certain textures of things. So sensory is a big part of why certain people don't like certain things.
But real quick, what will you consider as a hidden gem vegetable or fruit for children that is underrated, but is so, besides avocado, because I know it's a superfood, but is there any other fruit or vegetable that's really rich in nutrients that people sleep on as such?
All of them. I really think that there's every vegetable carries such a high amount of nutrients and ingredients and everything. It's a lot in every single one of them. Hence, so if you go onto my website, you'll see my blog, Eat the Colors of the Rainbow, and it lists every single color and what the properties are and everything. And we have to be mindful. I think one of the biggest issues that why parents panic about picky eating is they feel like their children aren't getting the necessary nutrients. 3 of the main nutrients, I believe, that children are supposed to have, I think it's macronutrients, fibers, and proteins. And they stress if they're not getting that. And you have to find ways to just a little bit here and there, baby steps. And so, yeah, it's every vegetable, every fruit carries a strong amount of. But then you guys are aware of superfoods as well. So kale and different things like that.
Yeah. Got a question from Sean Smith. Do you need to purchase special equipment like smaller saucepans, pots, etc.?
Does he mean me personally or their household?
Probably.
I think he means when someone gets the box, because it's children, do they need smaller?
No. Okay, no, they can use whatever you have at home, and we will make sure that it's a clear understanding on what's needed when you get the box, but it wouldn't be anything outside of what a normal household is. We're not trying to teach your kids to be Gordon Ramsay, just we're trying to give them the fundamentals and the basics of cooking.
All righty. Dakia, thank you so much for doing this. You had something else, Carla?
I just wanted to commend you to act like with your entrepreneurial spirit, because the last time you were on, you talked about the lessons, right? And now here you are, you've recreated yet another venture. So does that entrepreneurial spirit in you ever die?
Never. Ever. I was on with Jamila the other day of BDC, and she was saying the same thing. And if anybody that knows my journey, it's been up, it's been down, it's been good, and it's been bad. But one of the roles of an entrepreneur is that we're problem solvers. And so when most people come up with businesses and stuff, it's because they've noticed a problem or emptiness in a certain segment of the market. And if you're an entrepreneur, your mind is constantly going to go on, how can I fix this? How can I change it? And that's just how my mind works. And Carla, you know, I'm sure everybody that's close to me knows that I didn't wake up and this happened. I went through almost a year of research and trying to get this offer solidified. And so thank you to everyone who supported me. Even my friends, Kiara was one earlier. She has been a part, her and her daughter Nyla, they have a YouTube channel. Check it out. Nyla nails it. I think, Kiara, correct me if I'm wrong. But there's people that's been on this journey with me from the beginning. I see Terry's helping me out. So I'm just appreciative to everyone that didn't get stressed out with all my forwards and whatnot. So thank you.
All right, Dakia O'Brien, Picky Little Eaters Club. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with this. This seems fun. We'll try to get Carla that pass so that she can sneak. It just makes me think of that Fresh Prince episode where Will needed that extra class to graduate, and he had to go back to young children. So that's going to be Carla. She's going to be Will Smith in this case, and the kids are going to make fun. Why that old lady in our class? And you know they're probably going to bully you.
But remember, it's virtual, Carla, so it's a safe space.
Okay.
Don't use my words against me, okay?
You're good. Dakia, thank you so much. Talk soon.
Have a good day, Kia.
All right, great episode with Dakia O'Brien there. If you really enjoyed today's episode and the conversation, please give us a like. Love Carla's lack of eating vegetables that everyone else enjoys, or fruits like avocados. Give us a love, a laugh. If you're angry at Carla not eating something, you can give us a little angry reaction as well. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere because we have a very easy daily play, but something just tells me Carla ain't gonna get it. I don't know. Stick with us.
How great.
Nowhere.
At Bermuda Communications Group Limited, we love to help businesses and organizations of all sizes across various industries. Find out how we've been working with our clients to improve their customer experience and increase their revenue. Send us an email to contact@bermudacommunications.com to see how we can assist you next.
All right, welcome back to the big show. She's Carla Zul. I'm Jamal Hartman. Thanks again to One Communications, Linda's Medical House, Channel 82, everyone who continues to support what we're doing. You all talking about my face. That's Carla. Talking about, I don't eat pumpkin or avocado.
I don't like mangoes, watermelon, bananas.
I'm with you on watermelon. I just don't understand what's good about that. But yeah, you have a list, Carla. You have your list is longer than mine. But you tend not to like the stuff that was supposed to be eaten, though.
I don't know what it is about avocados. I try. Anyway, I'm ready to sing. Come on, I'm ready to sing.
Folks, take those windows up. Let's have it. Take those windows. We do not want any accidents or lawsuits against Carla. All right, here we go. Here is today's daily play. On Wednesdays, we guess the lyrics to a song. Quote, I can touch the sky. You make my temperature rise. End quote.
You could touch the sky. It's Michael Jackson. All right.
Quote, I can touch the sky. You make my temperature rise. End quote.
Michael Jackson. No? You make my temperature rise. I can touch. You make my temperature. I can't even. You don't know. I say this every week. I am rhythmic, so I can't figure it out. Okay, Tony. Oh, you make. That's what that says. You make my temperature rise. Ooh, baby.
It doesn't quite go like that.
So hot.
But yeah. You didn't get today, but
I didn't.
It's Tony Braxton. You're making me cry. That's the song. The audience got it one time. I mean, they got it. I tried to set you up, but I did predict that you wouldn't get today. I was trying to tie it into 420 yesterday, and
should have given me a Bob Marley song.
I don't think it would have mattered anyway. But yeah, Wednesdays we guess the lyrics to a song, folks. And Carla, I don't think. What are you this week? Are you 0 for 3?
Probably, yeah.
No, you got David right yesterday. You got 20.
So I'm 1 for 3. It's all right.
Yeah, your percentage is getting back where it belongs.
Tomorrow I might, make up for it. And then on number ones, I kill number ones with Jackie, so I'm not even stressed. It's all right.
All right.
Can't win them all.
Yeah, can't win them all. What are your thoughts on today's episode?
I'm one of Kia's biggest fans, and so I love it. And I love that it encourages young people to eat all of these delicious vegetables. So I just love it, and I love her entrepreneurial spirit. And as far as movement with Tamara, I love that. I was giggling as I was watching the video because I just love that we're normalizing this speech around ingestion of THC marijuana. So
yeah, I think the whole cannabis thing, it normalizing it is so important, but we can't forget, and I big up Ben and Jerry's, because Ben and Jerry's they really are some warriors as it comes to social justice. Really don't care who they offend, but they were very vocal on social media again yesterday regarding we're celebrating 420, but we can't forget that the percentages of Black people who are punished for this is still higher, but also the amount of people that are in business with legal marijuana businesses right now are they ain't Black. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been criminalized and now they're being rewarded, right? So appreciate those things, but also I appreciate Tamara for doing what she's doing in educating Bermuda, and hopefully the people that write the legislation and reforms to that legislation are tuned in and getting an understanding that it is not the enemy of the people. So Dakia, another great conversation. If you missed the first time she was on, I mean, probably one of the most transparent conversations we had to date at that point about her entrepreneurship journey. And just doing this here, it's like, I say it all the time. Sometimes you just have to connect two things, find something you love to do and use it to fulfill a need. And I definitely think there's a need for things like that. So props to Dakia O'Brien for what she's doing. Carl, I know you have the daily inspiration for us.
Today's daily inspiration is courtesy of Shonda Rhimes. You can waste your lives drawing lines, or you can live your life crossing them.
Is Shonda Rhimes that lady in the TV industry?
Yeah. Hitmaker, Grey's Anatomy, and a bunch of them.
What's the one about the president that lady was on?
Scandal, I think it is.
Did she do that?
I never saw an episode of Scandal. I don't know. I think so. And then isn't she behind Bridgerton too? I think. I don't know.
I don't watch these shows, me, but that's a good quote. Cross the lines, but hey, some people only will go so far across those lines. You got to keep going. And as it relates to the European Super League, all the clubs seem to have backed out now, so it looks like that's been done. But even crossing the line, it doesn't end there. These owners try to suck the living daylights out of community clubs. That's what they are, that they've turned into their businesses. So hopefully they keep the pressure out to send these owners away for good. Look, we have to wrap it up. Unfortunately, we have to let you all go for the day. Yes, people are saying yes, Scandal. Carla and I, unfortunately, are probably the only two people who have never watched Scandal, right?
We have something in common. You know who that is?
That's about it. But no,
Bobby Broad.
I know. Hold on, I know Alicia Keys' song "Common." I know that. I may have known the song if you didn't sing it. Okay? If you didn't sing it, I'd recognize the song. Anyway, that's that, folks. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, and Linda's for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Carla Zool. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a great day. Peace.